Barfuss out of the room for a couple of minutes. So we're going to go back to our agenda under 5, adoption of minutes. Councillor Bengry?
Councillor Burns could do it.
Councillor Barnes?
I move to approve the minutes of the March 28th council.
Okay, any questions regarding those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you very much. There are also minutes from a public hearing.
So,
Don't fight us.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the public hearing.
Thank you.
March 28th.
Of March 28,
28th.
2017. All in favor? Thank you very much. Let's go on the 7.
I'll make a motion to approve the audit.
We already done that. Now, if you look under 7B, Federation of Canadian Municipalities, they're soliciting funds for legal, and you know, any association that represents municipality does need to have a certain amount of legal money set aside. We know what it is, and it's never getting cheaper. So the impact for us is $86 per year, which is honestly a reasonable amount. And when I first of all saw that they were looking for money, I thought, oh my, how much? But $86, I thought, it's not a bad thing to have a federation of Canadian municipalities representing us to the government, the federal government.
Do we contribute to them
Yes, we do.
already? I mean, as a
Yes,
member
we
on a
do.
regular basis?
Yeah, we are members of that.
Yeah, so we pay a membership fee.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve some funding for FCM.
Up to
$86.46.
Yeah, in the amount of,
$86.46.
yes. Okay, thank you very much. All in favor? Thank
It's
you.
amazing how there's GST on it.
All right. Request for direction, maybe, Shem, you want to present this item for us, or what exactly do you expect us to do?
I like this.
There are so many steps in there, I was a little bit finding that mind-boggling.
I just want a little bit of direction is all I want.
I mean, they're talking, they want to have some direction regarding the design.
I know, yeah.
And I thought we certainly want elements of our present crest in that, on that heraldic crest.
Yeah, and actually the way the town logo has been designed, it has been designed a lot like a shield.
Right.
Yeah.
So some of those elements, they're symbolic to Cardston area. It would be appropriate to include them in a coat of arms, and then we'll have more liberty to, change our logo however we see fit. Right now, as far as going through the process with the Canadian Heraldic Society or Authority, we have completed phase 1, which is the administrative phase where we, petition the chief herald, all of that process. So we have now been approved, and the letter from the Assiniboine Herald in your package, he states exactly what it is we have been approved for. Lost mine.
Do you want it?
Can I just look?
Here, why don't you take this? Yes.
This is from Daryl Kennedy, you're talking?
Yeah, from Daryl Kennedy.
Okay.
If I could give you this.
Right here. Okay, so if the council recalls their motion, you moved to petition the Heraldic Authority to be granted coat of arms, flag, badge that would reflect the town's role, history, values, and hopes for the future. And the Assiniboine Herald wrote us to confirm that we are entitled to a shield of arms, a crest, with or without helmet and mantling, a motto, supporters, flag, and badge. So, those are the elements right there. So the shield is just the shield on the front, but not all entities are entitled to supporters. So being a municipal entity, we have been granted
to have
Supporters.
to use.
Yeah, so this is an example of
With the
supporters
what?
for.
For the shield,
Deer.
the two,
Whatever we want.
Well, those are for handle,
but it can be something else.
and it can be,
Appropriate supporters.
yeah, for
Depends if you want it
example,
or not.
You know, Charles or Gardner Red Crow.
you can see the city of Edmonton, they have Bushmen as one of their supporters. Every element in a coat of arms is very symbolic.
Symbolic, yes.
As an example, town of Tabor, flip to theirs. So the symbolism in theirs, like the gold shield represents the sun shining over, green lush earth in the area. The spray, the V shapes, the green shapes there, they can symbolize plant reaching for sunlight, and irrigation water spray, gusher produced when hitting oil, and a progressive people and community reaching for the future, always looking up to better things. The wavy bar in the middle there, the red wavy bar, recognizes the effect of the wind on the surrounding area. And you can see up on top of their crest, that's an old water tower. Tabor apparently had its start as a stop on the railroad, and they would
Yes,
water the
it
steam
was.
engines. So, and you can see on the, well, obviously the horse, the representative of agriculture in the area, and you can see the mining picks on his shoulder,
Yeah.
symbolic of mining. You can see all the agriculture, they call that the compartment that they're standing on. So there's every element of a coat of arms is very, very symbolic. And a coat of arms, it's meant to be timeless. Like it represents, it's an honor from the Crown, provides recognition for contributions that, for us being a corporate body municipality, the municipality has made in Canada and elsewhere. So this process, they want us to take some time with this process because they want to make sure that we incorporate everything we want. They want a list that's perhaps longer than what we want in the coat of arms, so they can go back and forth, they can do a little research, and then before they start any design work, they'll provide us with a written description of what the coat of arms is going to be. So like, okay, on your shield, we're going to have this, and this one, and you have the temple
Okay.
carriages. So what the direction I want from you right now is, because he's asking us if we have any particular things or concepts that we'd like to wish to appear in some symbolic form in our coat of arms. Obviously, we're not going to hash that all out right now, but I want, from what I'm asking from council, some direction on how you would like to proceed with identifying those symbolic elements, like what parts of our community, be it history, religion, anything, how would you like to identify those items and present that list to the heraldic authority?
Okay, so that needs a little bit of reflection here. I mean, we know that what's on our pin now, on our crest now, those elements are meaningful to us.
It's three elements.
But we also need to figure out what else could be added to it to represent this town and its people, its history, its beginnings. I mean, there are so many things there that we could look at. Maybe that what we need to do is, first of all, figure out a list of what those things could be, and it's not going to happen tonight.
Might I suggest that maybe we should put together an ad hoc
Subcommittee.
committee and
Yeah.
have them go through that, because in all honesty,
I know.
for us to sit around for 3 or
No,
4
we can't
hours
do
to...
that.
Oh,
And I'm
absolutely.
really wondering if somebody of the Historical Society who has a little bit of a sense of history and tying it up could maybe help us with
I'm not
that.
confident with that
I'd
right now.
suggest somebody like Dave Innes out in public.
Yes, David could be a good person to it.
Right.
But you also need somebody with a sense of, I know that we'll do design, but it's so much easier to have a concept kind of realized.
Might I suggest that if we're going to form an ad hoc committee, that we maybe ask Councillor Edmonds
Yeah,
and Shem to head that up and call a couple of other people from the community
Yeah, I
to join us?
think-
Absolutely.
I don't think we need, I don't think we need more than
No.
four people on it.
I think if you had
I mean, I'm sure you take
handpicked
input from
people,
it.
to give you direction, you probably can come up with enough elements to create that code of
At
arms.
this phase, that's all we're doing right now, is
Okay,
identifying elements
all
we'd
right.
like to see represented in
So-
symbolic form.
And
Councillor Bengry.
I like Councillor Edmonds' situation because he's been the chairman of
Okay,
the Historical
so-
Society for how many years? Been in and out of that building for,
okay, Councillor, would you like then to put a motion forward to have an ad hoc committee regarding the, okay, go ahead.
I'll move that we create a ad hoc committee with Councillor Edmonds and Shem heading it up and
To create the code of
the-
arms
the initial ideas for the coat of arms.
for the town of Cardston, okay.
Just like Howard Snyder.
Questions?
Just a high-level concept, and I'm sure you would incorporate it, but, you know, I'd really like to see a strong First Nations representation on our coat of arms, kind of dating back to before the town, you know, in that history, but, you know, just a thought, I'm sure it will be.
All that would need to be discussed and incorporated.
bring it back
I
to us.
suggest that that's
Yeah.
all,
They just take
Yeah.
submissions.
them take,
Yeah.
put it all together and then come back to us with
Okay.
ideas.
All right, so we have a motion on the table, all in favor? Thank you very much, so Shem, that might help you to do your next step. Okay, maybe if you give me my agenda back, it help me to carry on. I need my agenda. Thank you. All right. Okay, let's move on. Request for direction, impact of electrical policy. If you remember, we need to rescind the policy that is there in the books. And maybe Jeff, if you want
It's
to
just
take...
a direction request,
What was it?
isn't it?
It's a request for direction.
Any motion?
Jeff, do you want to maybe address that one for us?
Yeah, just very quickly, there was a motion to send a letter to the province regarding the impact of the balancing pool
right.
rider, and as we looked at that, based on the policy decision to use that to fund capital, we don't really have a strong position to chastise the province on this one.
No.
And I'm just not sure this is our best political move to send that letter.
No, and I would agree with you. Okay,
I
three hands.
was just going to throw out that maybe now this has been reduced to a simple whereas in our new request. Whereas the balancing pool changed things for us here in Cardston, the province could help us out in the following ways, you know, and then help us get some, maybe the...
I don't know that we even want to bring it up.
You know something? Here is what I did. I brought it up at Mayor's and Reed. So they looked at me with their head, face down, not knowing what we were talking about. No
They
clue.
don't deal with it.
Right.
And the reason is that none of them are part of ownership of a system. And therefore meaningless to them, totally meaningless. So you couldn't have any support there.
I'll move to rescind the direction that we gave to write the letter.
Policy, direction is 2017-13.
Sure.
That's the motion,
Okay?
2017-13.
All right. All in favor? Thank you. So that's what it is. Now, here the next one is the letters that was sent.
In the financial report.
Well, and by the way, I do want a motion on this financial report. It is accurate, and we use the numbers from the audit.
Well, we're on 7E
Yes.
first.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
all right.
70,
Correct.
Yeah, we're going back.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, 7E. So you have a letter there from Mayors and Reeve. Here, the issue is about Medivac. We had a presentation made to us that I cannot disclose too much of it, but here is the implication. For us, is a potential loss of Medivac functioning out of Medicine Hat, which has an implication for the whole region, for Medicine Hat to Lethbridge. It's never a good thing to lose a service to one that is so far away from your towns when it comes to evacuation of a person that is significantly injured or needs treatment very quickly. So we have been asked as municipality to support this letter and to try to send it on behalf of the town.
Also move that we support the mayors and reeves of southwestern Alberta with a letter of support for the ongoing medevac services out of Medicine Hat.
Yeah, and to obtain some more information regarding their plans.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Thank you. We have to be so careful. I mean, sometimes the government wants to save money here and there, but sometimes the service level drops and it's not to our best advantage. All right, we have financial report from February 2017. We need to approve those financials by way of motion.
Move to approve the financial report from February of 2017.
Thank you. Questions? No? All in favor? Thank you. All right, so let's go to correspondence. As you could see on April 27, MP Glenn Motz is having an open house for his new office in Medicine Hat. Honestly, I will not go there. It's quite far away. And we have Glenn Motz, who is going to be visiting us on April 25th. So it will be the proper time
We
to
can
congratulate
congratulate him
him.
then.
Madam Mayor, if I could just ask, with Mr. Mott's coming on the 25th, he's requested if there's any items that council wants him to speak to specifically, that if I could give him some heads up to prepare. I don't know if you have anything on a federal level that's of a question or concern. You can certainly send them to me over the next 10 days or so. But his office requested that I forward any specifics to him so they can do their homework on them.
To me, one specific would definitely be a way to be able to have some link with the reserve, chief and council.
First Nations.
Honestly, we need to be able to.
Intermunicipal discussions,
Yeah.
some kind of,
One thing of interest, although not directly linked to Mr. Mott's, you'll be getting in your next package the last batch of amendments on the MGA that they're looking for feedback on. And one of them that's kind of come out of the blue at the last minute is the ability for municipalities to enter into intermunicipal collaboration frameworks with the First Nations.
Right.
Yes,
Now,
I
it
saw
is not
that.
requiring them,
No,
Yeah,
they can't.
but
It is allowing.
it is allowing for that collaboration on service provision, of recreation and utility services to happen, and they're going to create a framework for intermunicipal collaboration frameworks with First
and
Nations.
you know,
That's a good thing.
I'm very happy about that because we had one Mayors and Reeve meeting in Lethbridge, and it was in fact in the library. And where I brought that up, it was all about intermunicipal plan. And I said, what about the fact that we are next to a reserve and we have people using our services, etc., but we have no benefit to having a community that large next to our community, except for an economic benefit, which is a direct benefit, of course. But we have no benefit in being able to sit down, talk with them. Yet, we have an MOU regarding water
Yep.
and sewer, more or less, and sooner or later we need to redo that agreement.
Emergency services also.
Okay, so I'll ask him just to talk about maybe, and his office is acutely focusing on trying to get some meetings with Blood Tribe and the municipalities around them. I've talked to him specifically and personally about that in the last month, so I'll have him speak to that. So if there's anything else, just please email me, and I can forward it on to Mr. Motz's office so that he's prepared.
And I mean, even thinking, I mean, there are many things that could be useful to both of us in working.
And like I said, we'll get more information next meeting on that provincial MGA amendment.
Okay. All right, 11B, correspondence, Service Alberta SuperNet update. It's rather interesting. Yeah, I don't know what you want to make out of it.
What exactly does SuperNet do? It does-
So SuperNet is the same as a broadband, it's kind of.
It's a high-speed backbone,
It's basically a fiber network throughout.
fiber network, high-speed backbone.
It's-
Yeah, It's not an internet service, so.
It's
But-
not an ISP.
No,
You'd still have to connect to an ISP.
it's not a
then.
provider, but it's
just a support.
infrastructure
Yeah.
that you want very bad,
It's a super,
because that is what you can hook to,
it's a support structure.
yeah. It's an infrastructure.
Just telling us about it.
All right, anyway, take it for whatever it's worth. 11C, Alberta Municipal Affairs, just to let you know that we had received grants, and we are grateful to them for that. 11D, Alberta,
Hold on. Who got the grant? It says Olds here got the grant.
Yeah.
Benefit
Tell me,
region.
We were
But that's
partners
what I
in,
do.
we were partners
partners.
in two ACP grants. The
Okay.
first was the orthophotography project, which Old was the applicant.
Okay.
And it was on behalf of all the ORSC communities.
okay,
The second was the county, which we supported that grant. Excuse
Yeah.
me. And that was for their study about supplying potable water from our plant to Mountain View.
Right.
So those were the two that we were partners on.
Did they get that one?
They got that
They got
one.
it.
And I've talked to Murray and expressed my desire to be involved with that from the start, because in talking to Albert and Bart, we would have significant upgrade needs to accommodate that kind of volume. And so we need to have that vetted in the study.
Yeah,
So
So
we've
that's
got a
a
meeting
focus.
with them next week, actually. We'll get that going here.
Councillor Bengry.
What's happening on this water line that they're putting into Etna?
South Water Co-op.
That's gone quiet from everything I've heard. I don't know all the details, so I'm speculating a bit, but my understanding is in their public consultation, there wasn't enough people that said they were willing to pay a connection fee.
Connection.
they like the 1 gallon per minute
Well,
wells.
it's not so much that. In the country and growing up there, my parents and brothers still live there, you invest thousands of dollars in a well. And if it's working fine, why would you abandon that investment, right? So there will come a time, if the infrastructure's there and the well fails, you bet you'd be pretty happy to have a potable water main close by. But right now, it's a tough sell for people who might have spent up to $20,000 on getting a well service. To abandon that, pay another large capital outlay, and abandon the well. So I speculate that the uptake wasn't as strong as they thought it might be in that area. And so
Okay.
it's just sitting right now.
All right, so those are the reason why we have those notifications, is because we were signing partners. Councillor Creed?
I have a question, Jeff, on the water to Mountain View. This was just a study that they wanted to do?
What do you want to do?
My question is that if I look at my maps, Mountain View is a lot higher than us as far as...
We would take a series of lift stations, no doubt.
So they want to move water back upstream?
It's because of the problems that they have.
Well, it's curious, I'm just...
They are being required to have.
Mountain View has found themselves in a problem where
They don't
the
have
development has proceeded without proper water licensing through that community. And so Alberta Environment is now pushing back for these people to have adequate licensing.
Oh, right.
And the problem is you start running into potable water issues and how many wells you can have on a quarter section and, a number of those issues.
Yeah, that's the reason.
So I think the county is looking to see if this is at all even a viable solution to pump water that far.
Yeah, it just seems like it would be better to just put in a treatment plant up there and take water out of their
I mean, they've got the belly right there on
Yeah.
Main Lake.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, the study will help them to
They are.
know what they
Yeah.
need to do.
Pumping water.
But now they're saying that
Yes.
if you have a bed and breakfast, that you have to have a potable water supply, you can
Yes,
no
that's-
longer use a well.
There's
Yeah.
quite a bit of...
We've got a couple of things, not to jump and open up a can of worms that doesn't exist right now, but there's a number of applications from the county for B&Bs, campgrounds, multi-residential areas that they're getting their approvals by putting the town as the water source. And I've got to get that addressed to some degree. It may be okay, it may be just fine. But I think we need maybe a little more robust agreement with respect to new development and using the fill station as their sole source of potable water. Because you're right, the requirement on a campground, for example, is you can't use well water. You need potable water, treated water. And so they're making these applications saying they're gonna have a
Truck.
multiple thousand gallon
Right.
cistern and run multiple trucks a day to fill the cistern. And I'm not certain that's a sustainable model for anybody, us or them. You know, that's my concern.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm sure we'll be talking more about over the next few months.
Okay, Jeff, that brings me back to some kind of thought. Our system in town is built for about 6,000 users. How is the impact of those community outline when we start to service them within our growth plan?
So what's the word I want here? We can treat a large volume of water, probably in excess of 6,000, but we can't treat it with the speed that would be required.
Right.
So we can treat volume at a slow rate, but we can't supply at the rate that would be required. So one thing that Bart and Albert have been talking about is what we'd like this study to consider is we would require a pre-treatment plant.
Right.
And so this would pre-treat the water before it went to the plant, and then our speed of production could
Would be
increase
okay.
dramatically.
Okay.
But that's not just a Brita filter on the hose, right? That's a building, that is infrastructure, that is major technology, right?
And we should not
Which
have to
means
bear that
costs.
brunt
No, we
Yeah.
won't.
of that cost for supplying water to
Yeah.
someone else.
But that's what I hope the study, that the county's aware that to add that kind of capacity, not only is there the physical extension of the lines, there's treatment infrastructure requirements.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
glad you're on the top of that. All right. So on the 11D, Alberta Infrastructure and Transportation, change of speed limits. It's already changed, in fact.
Yeah.
All right. And I think we're pretty well,
Mayor, two questions I don't see on the agenda, and I apologize for not bringing this up at first. But we had a request for a decision on the last council about our stakeholders and the requisitions. Have we got any back from that?
Are you talking about the total financial impact of a citizen here in Cardston and whether or not it's worth it to do
Oh,
a
the
census?
Yes.
Oh, no, I
Because
don't
of-
have that from Hawken yet, he's just finished the audit and we'll get that to you.
Okay, and also we got a correspondence, you probably got it, I got it, on the formation of an assessment review for each community.
Property assessment?
Yeah. Assessment review,
I don't know.
Was it individual, like group, specific to your property or?
no,
No,
it's
you're-
specific to our community.
You're on that assessment review board.
Yeah, and so is the mayor.
Yeah.
yeah,
And Jill is the clerk.
yeah. But it's essentially,
It's an organizational thing.
we just have to wait for all the information. It's not there yet.
I
Isn't the assessor coming within the next month?
I got pretty specific.
Next meeting?
Email.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, Councillor, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm not familiar.
Send it to us.
Yeah, just forward it to me.
Send it to us if you don't mind.
Good motion here.
Yeah, move to adjourn.
Thank you, we done well. Thank you, Councillors. We covered a lot of